Meninga, Meredith, Ferguson, Henjack, O'Sullivan, Gilbert, Atkins, Elliott, Grant, Lance is the hooker and captain, and Coyne is the other prop, and they're coached by, well, the now Australian coach Don Furner. North Sydney, a couple of notable omissions there. Olsen Filipina is out, and so is Jones, the Queenslander, who's been performing very well. But still quite strong. MacArthur, Kiss, Tate, Florimo, Simons, Cannon, Friend, Graham, captain at the back of the scrum, Hanson, Teasdale. Bella's been playing well since coming down from Brisbane. Wright as the hooker and Cross as the other front rower. And their coach, Brian Norton, I would imagine tonight feeling quite deflated after a great start by North Sydney to the season. And then, as I said, that horrible loss to Penrith last Saturday. Incidentally, tonight at the end of the match, we'll be making the quarter-final draw. I'll tell you why we're making the quarter-final draw so early during run of play. Incidentally, last Sunday in Adelaide, just before we kick off tonight's match, South Australia, they played Victoria in the qualifying series, and South Australia were the eventual winners by 20 points to 14, and they'll now play Western Australia in Perth on the 6th of April. With Victoria now knocked out of the series, it'll be between South Australia, Western Australia, Northern Territory and Port Moresby to see who will challenge Eastern Suburbs in a first-round match, and that'll be played at Brisbane's Lang Park. We'll take a break right now, and then Graham and Bill will join me from Leichhardt here in Sydney for the kick-off to tonight's match between the Raiders from Canberra and the Bears from just over the bridge here in Sydney. Welcome back. North and Canberra almost set to do battle in this knockout situation. Dennis Spagarino, the referee for tonight's match, with horse running left to right in the red and black jumpers. And it's the former St George 5/8 Mark Cannon, a sometimes centre three-quarter, sometimes lock forward, kicking off. And John Ferguson is the first Raider to get a touch, and he comes out towards the 10-metre line. It's Gilbert. Coyne. Very chunky prop, Coyne. Built close to the ground, and it's Elliott in the 10. We've come to know his kicking talents over a few years. Simons will play it back on the halfway. Now Graham Hughes is sidelines, and he's with the North Sydney coach Brian Chikanua.
Brian, a great start to the premiership proper, but then back to earth with the thud last Saturday.
Yes, that's right, Graham. We've played 3 games. We've had 160 minutes of winning football and 80 minutes of losing football. Tonight's game is very important to us. We've got to redeem ourselves and our supporters, as last week's game was on a television match, and this we've got tonight again to television, so it gives us a chance now to produce our best here tonight.
An obvious strengths for Canberra out wide in the back.
Yes, well, we've played against Meninga and Canberra early in the year in a trial match, but we realised 20-minute football is a lot different to any trial match. Tonight we've got to play the game on Canberra's real estate. We've got to make sure our kicking game is spot on, which went astray against Penrith on Saturday. But our kicking game is very important tonight, that we play the game on Canberra's real estate, not let them play it on ours.
Okay, good luck. Thanks, Brian.
Graham Hughes with Brian Norton. Another new phraseology coming in the league.
I do think that Brian Norton hit the nail on the head when he said that he's got to try and hold the Canberra backs. North Sydney no doubt have an advantage in their big pack of forwards, but I think the Canberra halves are particularly sharp, and they've got big, strong players out wide. I feel Canberra can win this one if they give their backs a share of the ball.
Elliott getting them firmly into the frame of mind that Don Furner would have sent them out there in, and that was to play the game in North Sydney's territory. That's what Brian Norton was talking about, in effect, breaking it down to everyday Australiana for you. It's very important to play the game in your opponent's territory, and they would be the simple instructions from the coach. He wouldn't even have to tell them these days, I wouldn't think. But Elliott's the kicker. You'll see plenty of him in the 10 for Canberra. This is Johnny MacArthur. Only a little fellow, a squirt of a man, really, but he came from west to north. He's a fine young player, playing fullback with the Bears these days. Back to it live now, just inside their own 22. And that's Hanson.
Now that's Clayton Friend. I wonder, will he be similar to a lot of other New Zealand internationals we've seen recently as Cannon puts the kick in. It's not going to find touch. They seem to grow a leg when you put the black and white jumper on them, but when you bring them back to club level, they, oh, I don't know, they almost seem to go on a mental walkabout. This is Terry Fay. Terry Fay, what a great winger he was in his prime. There he is, a giant of a man. I can remember Jack Gibson once saying that he's the strongest man he knows in rugby league. This is Elliott. I think Eric Groth took his mantle. In the words of the same coach. Here's Meninga. Oh, put down badly there by the number 4, Meredith. It's Kiss. Now crossed. Kiss and cross, they're going to become a mouthful as we wear on to this one. Don't forget to cross your kisses. Now this man has been playing strongly, I'm told, Martin Bella. I'm sorry Jones isn't in this North Sydney team tonight. He's been going great guns, they say. Cannon. Oh, that's a good kick. A grass cutter of a kick. And he's found touch just inside the Canberra 22. There's the Foster's Lager replay for you. They're both quite proficient in their art of kicking, both Cannon and Elliott. Well, Spagarino's given a penalty to Norse. He's penalised the half for an incorrect feed. I think he's saying, I want it in the centre, I want it rolled in point to point along the ground, not in an upward motion. Well, if that's the case, Mr. Spagarino, you're going to be in for a busy night. Cannon finding the line 10 metres out from the Canberra line. This is Andrew Simons. No score. The ground, I would think, just with the dust settled from a couple of showers through a thunderstorm. But here's North with a good chance. Oh, gee, that was an important tackle. Dean Lance, the captain and hooker. They still might score, the Bears. That's good long passing by Clayton Friend. Mark Cannon's galloping back towards the centre of the ground. He's about 15 metres out from the Raiders' line. Bella back to the hole behind to play the ball. But this Canberra defence is quite solid at the moment. They're right on the 10-metre line. They're in front of the uprights. Cannon, there goes the grubber kick, but fielded nicely by Canberra's centre, Mal Meninga. See it again on the Foster's replay. And taken in slips there by Mal Meninga.
Meninga read that particularly well. He didn't go up in the defensive line. He waited, anticipating the kick. The kick came through behind his inside centre, and he was able to snap it up.
Coyne on the 22 line. Hanson, the tackler, around the legs. Now Elliott couldn't get that kick in quick enough.
I think Elliott's going to be the most important man for the Raiders tonight. He handles most of their kicking in general play, and against a big pack like North Sydney, I'm sure that Don Ferner would want to get him 2 and 3 off the rucks, where that he can utilise some of the ball skills that he's got.
Les Kiss. And Friend. Bella. Cannon. It's not a brilliant kick. It's put Canberra in possession 5 metres from halfway. Not only was it a kick that didn't have a great deal of length in it, it went straight to the fullback. He had enough time, Cannon, to place it at least to make him do some work, some running. Elliott. 10 metres into North's area. Just looking at Coyne, the prop. He was a bit sick after a tackle. There's the ball out now to Chris O'Sullivan. Oh, Meninga couldn't take it. He's a big man, and the pass wasn't brilliant. It hit him just below the hip. And at his size and running at the speed he does, you've got to almost put it right on his chest, right on his stomach. His cannon kicking got a little bit of a check as he tried to make his way through. Belcher giving it immediately to Ferguson, away from one. He's gone around another. No, Simons has come from behind to make the tackle. He's lost the ball, Ferguson. A scrum, midway 22, halfway Canberra's in.
And on behalf of all rugby league followers, I plead that John Ferguson be given plenty of the ball tonight with some room to move. There's no more exciting thing to watch in football than John Ferguson skipping his way down the sideline.
Those sentiments were echoed just a few moments back by a leading Canberra official to me, who claims had the ball have gone to Ferguson's wing at the weekend, the Raiders may well have taken the 2 points. Penalty to Norths. Differential, the second in the match and the second that has gone to North Sydney. Cannon finding the line just inside the quarter. This is Simons wedging it to the middle. They're looking to me as though they're stacking the blind side, probably for a Mark Graham run. They're in the middle of the ground now. Here they come back to the blind to Graham. Ooh, good tackle. One low, one up the top. You saw the torso of Graham shock back as they hit him. And now it's Hansen. 15 or 16 metres out from the Canberra line. Friend. And a chance for North. No, he's offside, is he not? No, he's ruled that it came off the North Sydney player. So that's how close the Bears came to getting a clean pair of hands to it. Good ruling by Spagarino too, as the Foster's Lager replay showed. And now timeout for an injury. No score, if you're watching the National Panasonic, between Canberra and North, 0-0. Play on now, says referee Dennis Spagarino, and Grant, he almost lost that ball. He's held, though, about 15 metres out from his own line. Coyne, almost out to the 22. I was telling you about that quarter-final draw being conducted tonight, and early, in fact. It's being done to accommodate an out-of-sequence quarter-final being played on April 9. That was the date from which New South Wales country were moved to give them more preparation time. So next week it's West Penrith, then the first quarter-final April 9 at Leichhardt, and then the big night at Lang Park on April 16, followed by April 23, St George versus New South Wales country. So that's the reason we're forced into doing a quarter-final draw tonight. Well, there's a loose arm there from the North Sydney hooker, but they're allowed to go, and this is Nigel Tate looking back inside, finding Cannon. Cannon, well, is anxious to pass, but nobody wants to run. This is Kiss. And he's tackled on the Canberra 22. Hansen. Good strong run by the second rower. The Bears have been birthed in Canberra's territory for a good portion of time. His friend. MacArthur's gone in to stand off. Graham with the ball. Tackled 10 metres out from the line. Around the legs was Coyne. Still going left, off a set of hands. Play on, MacArthur standing back now to the number 13, which is Cross. And Cross is tackled. About 8 metres out, 5 tackles gone for the Red and Blacks. Can they put points on the board? Clayton Friend puts the grubber kick right across the ground. It didn't cause any problems for Canberra, particularly for John Ferguson, and it'll come out to the 22 for the restart. There's the replay, courtesy of Foster's, and there was never any pressure. He struck it very hard. This is Grant. Now through Henjack, and Meninga's pass it. There's a chance on here for Freddie Teasdale. Teasdale leading the race for the ball. I think he'll give a try. I think he's going to give a try. Yes, scored by Fred Teasdale. Just when it looked hopeful for Canberra, the ball came down off a Meninga pass, and he's given this as a fair try. Now here it is on the longer replay. Meninga tried to get a short pass away. The defence absolutely pummeled him, and here's Teasdale playing the whistle, and the referee awarding a fair try to the North Sydney second rower.
The pass was probably on out wide, but when Meninga realised the defence was up so quick, he should have hung onto the ball. He tried to pass under pressure, and that's the result.
Well, it was a very ticklish decision for the referee to make. He was getting a rear-end version of the whole exercise. As some people would say, he was seeing plenty of rump steaks, the referee, and he was indeed. And looking at the Foster's Lager replay, and we've seen it 3 times, haven't we? Both here in the commentary box and you people at home. Then it looked to me like it was a sweet try for Fred Teasdale. 4-0 in favour of the Bears. He played this final, the Cup final, back in '76, I think it was. There's the extras. And 6 points to 0. Les Kiss, the goal kicker. North leading Canberra in the national Panasonic. Meninga getting us back into action, and MacArthur comes out with it. North with Graham to the 22, and while they're rucking it out, let's take it over to John Croucher to check the footy tab pool and what the most popular forecast is.
Well, Ray, the dividend pool for tonight's match on Pick the Result is a very big $24,000, and the footy tab fans see this one as being a very close affair, with 50% going for a Canberra victory, 40% for North Sydney, and a very unusually high 10% going for a draw. The most popular score chosen on the cards is Canberra to score 18 points, North Sydney 12.
Here's Gary Belcher. Came from Souths in Brisbane, almost certainly. He came from that club along with Mal Meninga. This is O'Sullivan, one of the fastest players in the game from around the scrum base. Over 25 metres, I doubt there'd be a player could round him up. And here's a penalty going to Canberra.
Canberra are trying to play this game out wide. They look to spread the ball out amongst their backs then, but there were no backs there, and finally O'Sullivan had to skip back through the play the ball area, and he was almost able to skirt the North Sydney defence.
Well, there's the reason for the penalty against Rex Wright, the North hooker. And Elliott is able to find the line. Midway 22 halfway, North's end of the ground. About 4 minutes to the break as Grant goes ahead. Now Coyne. Back to the blind side. Elliott through one set from Belcher. It's a forward pass, says Spagarino. And Atkins throws the ball into the ground in disgust. He was home as far as he was concerned, and here's the ball. Fractionally forward, I'm sure you'd agree. Brett Atkins disgusted. The play worked absolutely perfect for him. How the Raiders needed that one. It's a big lead, 6-0 at the best of times, but it's even bigger when there's rain threatening all the time, and of course 4-quarter football. This is Teasdale, the try scorer. Bella. Friend. That's Hansen. It went straight over the top of Gilbert. Atkins, the tackler. Cannon. Now Belcher. It's interesting to take note of the kicking game of both Canberra and North and have a look at the enthusiasm in what we call marker or charge down defence. And you'll see that there's an apparent lack of it compared with some of our top teams. It's a very important facet of their games, but it's not treated with the urgency by these two sides as it is by some of the top teams going around. Johnny MacArthur. Ferguson the tackle. Friend. Cannon. That's Kiss. That's a good effort to make a break from that position because it was all standing still stuff. Grant makes the tackle on Kiss. Friend again. Canberra's defence just falling apart here. Bella. A minute from the break. And it couldn't come quick enough, I wouldn't think, for Don Ferner. There's some signs out there that Canberra are starting to falter. This is the last tackle. Cannon shoots for the drop goal, but he's hooked it. And it'll come out to the 22 for the restart. No change. 6-0 in favour of North. A try by Fred Teasdale converted by Les Kiss. Scrums reading out 3-0 to North, and the penalties 2-1 to North. Try came at the 14th minute. This is Coyne. Now Lance. They don't seem to have... There's another injury, another timeout for injury. Dean Lance is feeling the effects of a bump in the groin. Let's have a look and see how this might have occurred. Almost impossible to tell, but looking at the facial expression, I can imagine where he's got it. I was about to make the point that Canberra, the forwards don't seem to be taking it up with any gusto. They don't seem to be hitting the line and making North do a lot of work in defence.
I think they've fallen into the trap of realising they're trying to play the game out wide, but doing none of the hard work up the middle first.
Terry Fay. Tackle count restarted by the referee. This is Elliott. Grant. Henjack around the back, taken well by Atkins. And there's the siren bringing the first quarter to its end, with North scoring the only try and leading by 6 points to 0. We'll take a break, catch your breath, and be back at Leichhardt in just a moment. Welcome back to Leichhardt, with North about to kick off and get the second quarter flowing. That breeze seems to be gusting up even stronger now. Graham, am I dreaming from up the back of the Latcham Robinson stand, or in fact has it just come up a bit stronger?
Yes, the breeze has started to come up a little bit more, Ray. In fact, it is behind North Sydney, and I've got Donny Ferner with me at the moment. Don, territorial advantage, of course, is the big thing in rugby league, and that didn't show up on your side in that first quarter.
No way. We dropped the ball 4 times and then give a penalty away, and we've been down there all night. That's what I just said to the fellows. We've got to get down. You'll see they'll kick there. When it goes back, they've got to kick it back again, you know, if you want to play down here. But they try to work their way out, and early in a game, you know how hard it is when the defence is so fresh. So we've got to get down there and stay there. But, you know, hopefully this quarter will be a lot better.
A couple of very important drop balls. There were some good half chances on our line.
Yeah, and that's we've got to get it out. We know what we've got to do. We just got to do it out there.
Well, let's see how well they listen. Don Ferner, thanks, Ray.
North Sydney with the ball, cross to the halfway. Nigel Tate taken in a smothering tackle by Meninga, and it had to be all of that too, because there was a chance on out wide for North then. Here's Cannon. And his kicking game, a very strong one, but this time too strong, and it's going over the dead ball line. In fact, coming to rest almost on the dead ball line. And this is just how close it decided to come to rest. And Gary Belcher standing over it and just wiping a bead of perspiration from his forehead. Eight times Cannon kicked in the first quarter. North's kicked a total of 11 times. Cannon 8. Elliott kicked 4 times for Canberra in that first 20 minutes. play back to the halfway. So Sullivan, that's a good kick. There's nobody at home. MacArthur across to his own 22 line to make the run out. Tackler was Gilbert. Nigel Tate. Friend. Bella. He's been, along with Hansen, outstanding as far as forwards are concerned. He's been able to take it up with a lot of gusto and making the defence do some work. There's Hansen now. There's Bella. There's the kick for Cannon. And this man, Gary Belcher, is certainly earning his money tonight. Friend making the tackle about 15 metres out from the Canberra line. Ferguson. Canberra beaten by Illawarra at the weekend. It's a good tackle. No damage done, but the player, Brett Atkins, knows he's been stopped by Peter Cross. Here's Grant. Sometimes get the impression with Grant he doesn't know whether he's a battering ram or a ball player. He seems to be trapped in the middle of both lines of thought. Elliott's kick out on the full, so pressure back on Canberra. And that would not please Coach Don Fernie. You heard it yourself from our sideline interview. Just outside the 22, and the Bears coming up with the feed and the loose. Cannon, change in tactics by the 5/8. Good thinking too. Belcher coming up with the ball. It's Terry Fay, almost to the 22 line. Elliott. MacArthur going fast to take it on the full. It goes behind him. And this is Meredith in pursuit, making the tackle. He went to Canberra from Canterbury. Prior to that was at Newcastle. There's the ball going out to Les Kiss on the left wing. Norths have got a new boy out there tonight in number 4, Greg Florimo, 18 years of age. Local junior, that's good to see. Playing his first grade match tonight. Peter Cross. Now Friend. This is Bella. Again Clayton Friend. Well, I know there's a huge rap on Mark Graham, and that's almost an international rap. But goodness gracious me. I can continue to ask myself the question, why don't we see more of him in situations when Norths need him? This is Fay. There's no question he has the biggest reputation on the ground and is probably the best player on the ground. But how many times have you seen him take the ball up tonight? And the match is 25 minutes old. Is O'Sullivan. Ferguson getting the pass back for a good support player in Gilbert, then to O'Sullivan, but he's ruled it forward. Well, Norths are going to have to be very, very careful. If Ferguson decides he's going to fold in around the play of the ball or even to dummy half, he's going to cause them a lot of trouble.
We saw a flash there of what Ferguson can do with the ball, and that was broken field running. I just think it's a shame that he doesn't get the ball in better situations.
Clayton Friend wrapped up by Gilbert and Elliott. This is Cannon. Bella. Little halfback Friend calling for the ball. There he is. Now to Graham.
Canberra are doing a fairly good job of wrapping Graham up. I agree that he hasn't hit the line as much as I'd like to see him, but when he has, there's been one underneath and one over the top, and that stops his best ploy, which is getting rid of the ball in tackles.
Cannon slicing through, Rex right. Right on the halfway, 5 tackles gone. Cannon again. And a very predictable play from North Sydney, this time going over the dead ball line and coming out for the 22 tap to restart. That's not good kicking by Cannon. Far from it. Here he is, Mark Cannon. As I said, he came across from St George. He played for the Australian schoolboys 78-80. A gym supervisor, 25 years of age. In fact, I think he had an off-season in England 2 seasons back.
Yes, he did. He's gone the circle. When he played for the Australian schoolboys, Mark was a front rower, and now he's a 5'8". And of course, Gary Coyne was a 5'8" in Queensland, and now he's a front rower.
Sullivan to take the tap. This is Elliott. Put down by Canberra. I think they've got possession, however, so it'll be a scrum. That's unforgivable stuff by Canberra. Second tackle, little or no pressure, and they put it down. Has Don Furner changed colour, Graham?
Well, I think he deserves to. Right? I think I'm just looking at this Canberra pack of forwards. It's almost as if subconsciously all those forwards out there are waiting for the likes of Terry Fay, Meninga and Eric Ferguson just to dominate the game. Are they expecting to run the left of the field, I guess, and score tries?
This is Hansen. Grant going in over the top after he'd had a little skirmish with Clayton Friend. He'll give a penalty in a moment, Grant, if he doesn't get off and get away out of it. This is Bella playing a bit of rugby league, as he has been all night.
And that's the way you've got to take the ball up. Bella tore into that ruck and he almost came through it.
Shame a couple of his counterparts weren't doing the same. The ones with the size to match what Bella has to offer. O'Sullivan feeding it. And this is Belcher.
Despite the fact that Canberra are playing so badly, I still think they've got enough strength, particularly out wide, to win this game, but it's a matter of cleaning up some of the mistakes they're making.
Incidentally, that was the first scrum that Canberra has won tonight. 6-1 the count in favour of the Bears.
And Canberra have made 6 handling errors and North's yet to make one.
That's Elliott out to the 32, a better run. Now Henjack. It's Belcher. Cut-out ball to Meninga. The big man is motoring to the halfway. Ankle tap from behind by Florimo. Elliott. Good ball by Elliott, back on the inside.
Elliott's always a danger in that position too, off the ruck, because he can get his hands free and offload the supports.
Again, Elliott puts the ball off that left foot. Les Kiss underneath it. Henjack makes the tackle. And going to be played just beyond the North Sydney 10-metre line. As I mentioned earlier, a couple of notable Bears out of this team tonight. I failed to mention, of course, that Don McKinnon is not in the team. He's out suspended. He's with Graham Hughes at the moment.
Don, courtesy of Jim Cameron on the sideline, for guys like Martin Bella, making it hard for you when you come back.
Yeah, well, he's playing pretty well, Martin, and I'm certainly not guaranteed of a first-grade spot. He played OK against Penrith in the beaten side last week, and he's going pretty well tonight.
It's been a confident start for the side, barring, say, last Saturday.
Yeah, they got off to an awful start against Penrith. Penrith had 10 points up in the first 15 minutes or so, and in a day like that, it was probably well into the 90s, and it's really hard to make a comeback when you're down 10-0 that early.
Like a box of fire tonight. North Sydney seemed to have it on Canberra in these early stages in the forwards, but of course Canberra creating a few half chances out wide.
Yeah, they've got a lot of dangerous players, Meninga and John Ferguson and Fay and blokes like that. They've got a very big side, and you know, as long as we can hold them in the backs, I think we'll get over the top of them in the forwards.
All right, thanks, Tom.
Don McKinnon was given a lifetime of rugby league to North. Again, Canberra bumble their way into mistake. O'Sullivan gets it around the back. He backs up Terry Fay. Now it's knocked down by the Bears. This will be play on with Canberra, but he's knocked on now as he tries to pick it up, O'Sullivan. Let's have a look at the score. No change, 6 points to nothing in favour of Norths over Canberra. From just outside the Canberra 22 on the far side of the ground. And a penalty goes to Canberra. In Big League out today, a pin-up of the South Sydney team. News of Big League's Kangaroo Supporters Tour, headed up by Max Krilich and Reg Gasnier, and a special readers poll on Jackpot Footy tab. And, of course, all the teams for the weekend in the Winfield Cup matches. Our bomb thrower taking a tour overseas, eh? Good luck to him. We'll have a good time with Maxie, that's for sure. Out through Henjack and now to Atkins, former Eagle himself. And it's gone down to North Sydney, but the referees ruled that they knocked on as well, and so a scrum will go down just on Canberra side of halfway. That was an example of a player who would have been better advised not to pass at all. He was in all sorts of trouble himself, Atkins. Have a look at it again. The arm carrying the ball was copping plenty of treatment, and he still thought, well, I might get it away to Meninga, but he was also in a pressure situation.
Prior to that, Canberra made two of the softest hit-ups you'd ever want to see.
Clayton Friend to play it, just into Canberra's area. North's continuing to win the scrums by a huge margin. 7-1 now. Here they are official for you. 7-1 North's the scrums, 2-2 the penalties, 6-0 the scoreline in favour of the Bears. In fact, I can recall when they played that final in 76 against Balmain, it was a record television rating at that time. Very much the underdogs were the Bears as they went down to the Tigers. Belcher now forced to pick it up and run it out. Now he should not make the 22 line. And he doesn't. So that's what I meant by Cannon shortening that kick up. They should be able to hold Canberra down here for 5 tackles now. This is the third. And Coyne is tackled about 5 metres inside the 22 line. And he's lost it. So Canberra having a dreadful night. They can't even get to tackle number 4 or 5 to put the kick in. Another North scrum win. This is Nigel Tate. Cannon was on his outside screaming for the ball. He'd run around to back him up, and Tate went the other way. This is Hansen. Right in front of the sticks, 10 metres out. Bella. Bella still going, Bella. Good, strong performance by the front rower from North Sydney. Couple of metres out from the line. Through to Clayton Friend now. Grant goes over the top and pays the penalty. Friend turns it back now for Hansen. Big Hansen's within 2 metres of the line. Strong defence there by Gary Belcher, the fullback. Hansen toes it ahead, but it's a penalty to Canberra. He's penalised him, I believe, for not facing goal. Seemed like he was facing goal, sweetly enough. But the penalty went to Canberra, and here they are taking the tap out on their own 22. This is Coyne. Well, Gilbert it is, I beg your pardon. Henjack, now Coyne. This is Atkins. Elliott. May have been touched in flight by North. Referee didn't indicate that. So the scrum is to pack about 30 metres away from the North Sydney line. Here it is again, the kick. Replays during the National Panasonic, brought to you through the courtesy of Foster's Lager. Same tunnel. A couple of minutes out from the break. Canberra winning the scrum against the feed. And this is Meredith. Well backed up, Henjack. Cut out pass to Fay. Away from his opposite number. Inside the 22. About 15 metres out from the line. Can Canberra score coming up to the break? Ferguson tippy-toes his way through to within about 2 metres of the North Sydney line. It's the first real time that North's defence has been tested, and the two wingers are doing the job, Terry Fay and John Ferguson. Fay to play the ball. The line just a metre in front of him. The ball spun away now to O'Sullivan onto Henjack. He's able to get away from Teasdale, goes back into the traffic, and is pulled down there by Nigel Tate. Back it comes again for O'Sullivan, away to Elliott, across to Meninga. It's been raked back by Meninga, touched by North Sydney. He may give 6 more tackles if Canberra have got the ball, but they haven't, and North's come up with it. He obviously felt that North did not get a touch to it, and this is Nigel Tate.
That was the first real opportunity that Canberra have had to put some pressure on, and it was through their two wingers. John Ferguson left the left flank and went across and joined Terry Fay in tandem on the right. They almost came up with the goods for Canberra.
Terry Fay, much bigger winger than Johnny Ferguson, but as I said earlier, a very talented player in his prime. There's the kick for Cannon. And Belcher getting right underneath this, about 30 seconds out from half-time. Tackled by Friend and Teasdale. Fay trying to break through there on the fringe of the play-the-ball area. Almost succeeded too. Oh, Elliott holding it back when had he have passed, they certainly had the numbers, Canberra. Just 20 seconds approximately from the break as O'Sullivan tries to get through the ruck area, but he's tackled 5 metres his own side of halfway. Elliott. And another scrum may form. May not have time to form, in fact, down on the North Sydney 22 line. One gets the impression if Canberra are to win this, Ferguson and Fay are going to have to get in there and take the ball out themselves. They're the ones causing North any trouble at all. There's the break, and North Sydney leading Canberra by 6 points to nothing. Welcome back in our national viewers try competition. There were no tries scored in the third quarter. Scoreline 6-0 to Norths, and Canberra, don't think I'd be wrong in suggesting, would have got a nice old round of the kitchen from their coach at halftime. Replacements, Graham Hughes.
Ray, Brett Atkins, David Grant and Brett Atkins are off. Sam Backo's on in 15 and Steve Walters is on in 16 for Canberra. He'll go to the hooking position with Dean Lance dropping back to lock. And for North Sydney, Peter Cross is off and his place has been taken by Jeff Blinkhorn in 16.
Time out for a North Sydney injury. I take note, Graham, that you didn't say they were off because of injury.
Well, I didn't pick any injuries there, Ray, and I think it might be an important change, that one of Sam Backo. The Canberra have been solely relying upon the likes of Meninga, Ferguson and Terry Fay in that first half, and now they've got a very strong runner on there on the forwards, take some pressure off those outside backs.
Top tacklers during the first 40. Lance 17 for Canberra, Hanson 15 for North. It's Canberra coming up with some loose ball, but North's immediately getting it back through John MacArthur.
And that would have been a nightmare start for coach Don Ferner. I'm sure that he'd be fully aware that his players have made many wrong decisions to pass under pressure, and that was yet another one. He'd have been hoping for a far better start than that in this second half.
This man's played very well tonight, Mark Cannon. He's controlled the kicking game, and his all-round performance has been very sound.
Certainly has, but that man, Mark Graham, who's one of the best footballers in the world, is going to have to find an alternative. Canberra at the moment are locking him up with the ball. He's going to have to do something different.
Because Belcher. Ferguson. That's Meninga. Fay. So we've had two wingers plus Meninga take it 35 metres down the ground. That's Gary Coyne. O'Sullivan. Switch of play to Henjak, and now to Bacco. Wrapped up by Bella. O'Sullivan. I think he took a dive, but he's going to get the penalty. Well, here it is again. Well, I tell you what, he must think Rex Wright is a magician. How the name of goodness he could get out of the road of that man would be a human impossibility. O'Sullivan travels very quickly across the ground. He put the grubber kick through, and Rex Wright had set himself to shoulder charge him. There was no way in the world he could pull out of it. So the penalty goes to Canberra. And Elliott taking the line finder. Breeze at their backs, Canberra, in this third quarter. They obviously haven't got a great deal of confidence in the goal-kicking department. Played by Bacco. This is Coyne. Now Gilbert. Through Elliott, Henjak, Meninga. There's a chance here for the Raiders. Belcher passes, and Meredith he'll be penalised. Penalised for a double movement. Well, they seem certain to score, Canberra. I'm blowed if I know how they didn't score. Let's see it again on the Foster's Lager replay. It was a good piece of work by Meninga. It was a beautiful pass. Belcher, well, probably he had to pass. Here's Meredith. Oh dear, oh dear. I've got a very grave doubt that the ball carrying arm never touched the ground. The man is entitled to promote the position of the football until that arm touches the ground, and looking at that replay, it certainly did not. Well, that's bad luck for Canberra. Let's have another look at it, just in case the referee is right and I'm wrong. But looking at that, I got the impression that that ball never at any stage touched the ground, and nor did the arm carrying the ball. So that could go down as the one that got away for the Raiders. This is Belcher. O'Sullivan, Meninga. Turning it back inside for O'Sullivan. Penalty to North.
Both sides are making their share of fundamental errors. That was a very simple one. Mark Graham was in the marker position. Chris O'Sullivan had to play the ball back. He couldn't pick the ball up in the ruck. He did that, and the referee had no option but to penalise him.
He actually penalised him for handling in the play-the-ball contest. And this is Les Kidd now. Teasdale. Bella. Graham. Into an opening. Here's a chance for the Bears. They're going to go. No, they're not. MacArthur's been grounded. Short of the line by Terry Fay. Freddie Teasdale over the line, hanging over the line, in fact, like a vine, and he's lost the ball. This was the break as Mark Graham burst into an opening. I thought MacArthur would score, but Fay came in like a swarm of bees all over the top of him. And here's Canberra now rocking about 15 from their own line. Elliott's kick, driving.
That's a huge kick.
Driving MacArthur way back down to about 15 metres out from his own line. Cannon, Tate, Florimo. That's good backline play by the Bears. This is Simons. He's got speed to burn. Hanson. Walters. Or Blinkhorn, I should say. Jeff Blinkhorn. There's a knock on against Martin Bella. Belcher.
I think Mal Meninga's going to have to get himself more involved. There's no doubt his credentials as a player, but the ball's not getting out in flowing backline movements along the Canberra backline, and he's going to have to go looking for it or give an overriding call and ensure that he gets it.
Well, I can't quite work out what that penalty's for. The North Sydney player, in fact, could have been penalised for a voluntary tackle. He was on the ground with the ball. He had to try and do something. Nobody put a hand on him, so he got up and started to run. The Canberra bloke tackled him. Graham, you were sitting on top of that. Is that the way you saw it?
Well, a very tough penalty, and if the referee was going to penalise anybody in that instance, well, surely it should have been the North Sydney player who got up off the deck and started to run. The Canberra guy was doing the right thing, Belcher, and it was a very tough penalty for the Raiders.
I thought so. This is Rex Wright. A couple of metres on his own side of the halfway. The Bears are deep on both sides of the play the ball. This is Cannon. Kick won't find touch, and it'll be left to Belcher to bring it back. This is where Ferguson might go for a scamper. Good ball by Elliott. Meninga. Well tackled by Cannon. Mightn't have been the orthodox type tackle, but he certainly handled the big man well. 11 handling errors to Canberra, 4 to North. Henjack. Here's Backo. In and out the other side. O'Sullivan. That's Coyne. Back now for Dean Lance. And there's been more excitement in the first 10 minutes of the second half than probably the first 40 minutes put together, particularly for Canberra supporters.
Canberra are starting to find their rhythm now, and if they're given a little bit more possession, they're going to make things difficult for North.
A couple of ordinary Canberra tackles put down by John MacArthur in the final wash-up. 6-0 in favour of North. That's the national Panasonic scoreline. The scrum almost on halfway to be fed by Canberra.
Come on, I'll get him back. Last back.
Belcher running off a good ball from Henjack. Quick play the ball in the same way they should go. Henjack deciding to go the back towards where the forwards are coming across. That's where he's run into his Waterloo. 32 metres out from the North Sydney line. Backo. Let's put a bit of venom into the Canberra drive, the forward drive. Back now for Henjack and across to Coyne. Short ball Meninga. Lofted ball over to Ferguson. Ferguson, and he's tackled on the 22 line. About 8 minutes of the third quarter to go. O'Sullivan, Elliott, over now for Meredith. The run around for O'Sullivan, down, not held. Now he is just outside the 22 on tackle number 5. Elliott's in position for the kick. And there it goes off the left foot. Wide. Belcher's going fast. And let's see how he rules here. I think he's going to give a try. Yes, it's a try to Canberra's fullback, Gary Belcher. It looked to me as though the North Sydney player fielded the ball, but Belcher took it off him on the way down. There's the Foster's Lager first replay of it. Simons, yes, he had it, but he lost it on the way down, and Belcher claimed it.
Well, I'm still not convinced that it was a try. It was a great kick by Elliott. He put it up into a space over on the right flank. Simons went back to get it. He did field the ball in the field of play, but then he lost it. As to whether Belcher got it down or not, I'm not convinced.
Well, I am. I think it was a fair try. Scored by Gary Belcher for Canberra. And putting a heap of interest back into this game, with North leading by 6 points to 4. If he kicks this, 6-all, and what did John Croucher tell us? An unusually high 10%. The footy tab punters tonight have forecast a draw. Meninga, the kicker, about 9 metres in, and Meninga's missed it, so it's Canberra still leading. I think about North still leading by 6 points to 4. Seven minutes of the third quarter remaining. Cannon restarting. Gilbert. That's Fay. Dean Lance. Elliott. MacArthur. Kiss. Turning it over for Canberra. A very similar pattern unfolding for North as to the one we saw from Canberra in the first half, Bill.
North's making all of the mistakes, and now it's Canberra doing all of the running.
Gilbert.
Sorry.
12, maybe 15 metres out from the North line. Elliott, Henjack, Meninga, oh, he's put it down. And North Sydney coming up with the ball. 5 handling errors that can be put down directly to the international, Mal Meninga. That's Blinkhorn in 16. Graham, Nigel Tate, and he's heading for the touchline. Ball was lost, but the touch judge had his flag up before that. So it's going to be a Canberra feed. Is the Foster's Lager replay, the ball taken out quite definitely by North Sydney. Canberra can be expected to come up with this scrum. Oh, dubious feed. And the lock on the halfback put on a rehearsed play. Belcher comes onto it. Meninga does likewise. He's tackled over on the 22 line. That was a beautiful piece of football from the scrum, won by Canberra, and Canberra piling on the pressure as we find Johnny Ferguson trying to free himself from a tackle about 15 metres out from the North line. Running with it now is Meredith, the centre. 10 metres out, 4 minutes from the break. And across it comes now for O'Sullivan. A short pass for Elliott. He holds it back and tries to break through. Coyne backs him up and gallops inside the 22. Belcher gets a pass away for Sam Backo, and Backo is grounded. Desperate stuff from North Sydney. They're a metre out, the Raiders. There's chance from the dummy half position, but it's gone out for Coyne, and Coyne is in to score. Well, North Sydney simply ran out of puff in the final analysis. They just couldn't keep holding Canberra at bay, and all of that can be placed firmly back on the North Sydney mistakes that they incurred. We saw Kiss make a mistake. There's the try on the Foster's Lager replay, and then another player was taken into touch, wasn't he? And that's why Canberra were down that end of the ground.
Well, this was so easy. The dummy half simply skipped wide. Rex Wright started to come in to make the tackle, left his man, and Coyne went over.
So the prop, Gary Coyne, is the try scorer, and Canberra now lead by 8 points to 6. 2 tries, and 2 tries in 6 minutes indeed to them. It could well have been their 3rd try in the 3rd quarter. If, in fact, you agree with me that Meredith did score a try. 2.5 minutes of time remaining, and Meninga, as you can see, on the 22 and 10 metres in from touch. Breeze with him. In fact, it'll be across the flight path. He's got it. Good kick by Val Meninga, and Canberra are leading Norths by 10 points to 6. Sideline comment, Graham Hughes.
Well, Ray, this breeze has even picked up somewhat a little bit further now in support of Canberra, and with only 2 minutes on the clock now in this 3rd quarter, look for even either the 2nd or the 3rd tackle for Elliott to put this ball right down in the North Sydney quarter. And of course, right throughout that last and final 4th quarter, there's no reason at all why Canberra should be trying to take any chances at all inside their own half.
Terry Fay finding, as his team did just a few moments ago up the other end of the paddock, that this North Sydney defence is starting to become quite brittle, and in fact with some players looking tired. 10-6 Canberra leading as the ball is spun back for the kick from Elliott, as predicted by Graham on an earlier tackle. It's gone right over the head of John MacArthur, and he's going to have to bring it out. O'Sullivan came down the ground very quickly, so MacArthur to play the ball now. Canberra now, they're calling the shots. They've got the lead. They've got the win. And as Graham said, now all they have to do is kick the ball down there on early tackles and hold Norths inside their 22. This is Cannon trying to bullock his way out of there. Or in fact, it was Florimo, the centre. Cannon's kick down to Terry Fay. He's in a pretty mean mood, Fay. He's been running very strongly, causing his opposite numbers some headaches. Meninga. That's what I like to see Meninga do. Go in and do the job yourself, Mal. And that's 6 more tackles as Gilbert comes up with the ball. Across now for a long ball from O'Sullivan through Henjack Elliott and put down by Belcher. Gonna put a scrum down. Nobody apparently wants it to keep. The siren sounding as the North Sydney fullback takes it to ground. And there it is, Canberra leading Norths by 10 points to 6 at 3/4 time. So 10-6 in favour of Canberra as you come back to us. And the Raiders piling on 2 tries in the 3rd quarter. And MacArthur going right through, Blinkhorn getting his pass away. And number 14 out there for North Sydney, Graham Murchie. Who did he come on for, Graham?
Well, Ray Graham Murchie's on in 14. He's gone on for Clayton Friend, and Peter Mayo in 17 is on for Freddie Teasdale. And for Canberra, Mitch Brennan is on in 17. He's taken the place of Darren Meredith. And very quickly, Ray, I've got Alan McMahon with me. Alan, a very different-looking Canberra side in the third quarter.
Yeah, it was a lot better. We had a bit of wind and used it quite well, and we put a hooker on, got a bit of ball, and things started to flow a bit better.
Very important job coming up for you too when Don Ferner takes the Australian side away and you jump into the first grade slot.
Yeah, that's true, Graham. Yeah, Don's been rewarded with the Australian job, and in the interim while he's away, I'll be looking after both the grades.
And also that fresh still in your mind, that grand final for the reserve grade team last year.
It's pretty fresh. I don't think I'll forget it.
Good luck with the first grade job.
Canberra with Coyne getting it into North Sydney's area, feeding it back for Walters, who came on at three-quarter time, or at half-time, I beg your pardon. He came on into the hooking position, and Dean Lance going into the back row. As the ball is fed across to Mitch Brennan, and behind Terry Fay. Mitch Brennan, a dummy half. Of course, he played for Souths, Bill, when you were the coach there.
Yes, he did. Mitch was captain. As a matter of fact, I can remember him being rewarded in this night competition with a Try of the Year award.
Elliott driving that ball down and finding touch, just a matter of a metre out from the North Sydney line. There's Mitch Brennan, 31 these days, and captain Souths to the 81 Cup victory. In fact, I think back in his career he was responsible for having a knee operation through an arthroscope. I think he had it on the Wednesday and was back on the Sunday, something like that. This is Mayo, the brother of Big Steve Mayo, who gave service to North Sydney. Bella. If North's to be beaten, it'll be no fault of his, I wouldn't imagine. It's Cannon. His kick into the breeze, which is fairly strong, and Belcher's running the ball back over the halfway. Oh, he's gone right through some terrible defence. Belcher will score the 70-metre try. So Belcher widens the gap between these two sides. His second try of the night, taking Canberra to a 14 points to 6 lead. Cannon kicked, Belcher caught, and Belcher then swerved and swerved again and ran. The defence, he beat 3 of them. Defence was disgraceful for North Sydney. And this Queenslander, who's possessed of a lot of talent, picks up his second try. Here's the Foster's Lager's second replay.
When you're chasing a kick, it's important that your line goes up together so there are no holes. Otherwise, if they go up in fits and starts, you can sometimes thread your way through, and that's exactly what Belcher did. He picked his way through the defence, and that should seal this game for the Raiders.
Gary Belcher. 2 tries. And Mal Meninga now attempting conversion.
Come on, let's go.
Big fellow, and he's got it, shaving the inside of the upright. 16 to 6 in favour of Canberra. Cannon with the restart. 16 minutes of time remaining. North went from almost a canter at half-time to be now in dire straits. Hitting MacArthur on the head. Back to the 22, and he's dropped it. Well, there must be something wrong with playing football down inside that 22 zone. Canberra were playing terribly when they had to guard it, and now it seems like it's a contagious disease. Norths have caught the same problem, and it's O'Sullivan tackled 10 metres out from the line, but Canberra looking very much like they might put another one on. Here's Big Meninga. Belcher goes looking for his third. Back inside for Henjack. Around the corner for Walters, and Walters is 3 metres out from the line. Canberra leading currently by 16-6. Henjack throws a long ball across the back, but it's not Sydney coming up with it. Bella. Graham. Cannon floating it out to Kiss. Inside Meninga, running into Terry Fay, and then actually falling in the path of Big Mal. This is Nigel Tate around the back for Mayo. Backing up is Tate, and play almost on the halfway. Murchie. Graham Murchie in the number 14. Hanson. Taken by Terry Fay. Canberra now back in their own 22 line. This is Belcher. Canberra making a change, Graham.
Paul Martin's already gone on the field, Ray, in 14, and Ivan Henjack coming off.
There's Ivan Henjack, the number 6. Henjack, he came out of St Gregory's College at Campbelltown prior to making his entry into grade at St George. Ivan Henjack. And there's the replacement, Paul Martin.
Paul played in the Australian Schoolboys last year, and spoken to Don Ferner about him. He's got a huge rap on him as a player.
Well, there he is, 18. And a lot of football in front of him, to say the very least. Here's Elliott. Simons. Hanson. Murchie. It's Blinkhorn playing in number 16. Cannon. And little fine touch just outside the Canberra 22. Well, Cannon proved in the first half that he was the man for the kicking job. And there's no use having a good kicker like him in your team if people are going to fumble and bumble around on the first couple of tackles prior to giving it to him, and that's primarily what's happened to North. They couldn't hold it long enough to put their kicking game into operation. And that's exactly what happened to Canberra in the first 40 minutes. Kiss folding around from the left wing. Hanson. Tackler Dean Lance. Graham getting a pass away, but it went very low for Blinkhorn. So Canberra come back up with it. 11 minutes of time to go, and Ferguson's coming to the halfway, and MacArthur was able to put him down just sufficiently long enough for Graham to come from behind and tidy him up. Martin. Coyne. Intercepted by Blinkhorn. Bella. Murchie. MacArthur. Right. Cannon. Ferguson, tackled just outside the 22. I think Mark Cannon reached the time in this match with 10 minutes to go. In fact, I think he reached it about 10 minutes ago. Well, he's got to mix his game up a bit. It's all very well to kick the ball on the 5th and 6th tackles, but he's got to be prepared to let the ball do the work and try and upset Canberra just a little bit with something different. They are, in fact, behind by 10 points. That calls for something desperate, something different. So Canberra sailing along nicely for victory, 16-6. Sullivan. Martin. Mitch Brennan. Meninga. Elliott. Martin. 5 tackles now for the Raiders. Elliott was knocked down by a Norths player, so it's 6 more. Backo. Walters reaching the 22. Still a few tackles remaining in this set of 6. O'Sullivan. Canberra yet to register a victory this year. Here's Elliott putting through the drop goal, so it takes Canberra to an even bigger lead now. 17 points to 6 in favour of the Raiders. And I would think putting a bit of value into the footy tab picked the result. 17-6 then, Canberra leading after trailing for a large portion of the match by 6 points to 0. This is Gilbert. Turned over by Coyne, picked up by Graham. Cannon. Canberra with players injured all over the park. Elliott, one of them. And the fellow in the foreground is Dean Lance. Backo. It's Coyne. Martin. Mitch Brennan. North's getting another change ready, Graham.
Paul Gearon on the sideline in 15. Ray, this is for Mark Graham, who apparently has called for the trainer. He believes he may have broken his collarbone.
Well, that's bad news if it is the case that Mark Graham has broken a collarbone. But Gearon nevertheless has taken the field. Chicken Norton having a look at it. Lance Brennan picked up by Gilbert. Elliott inside the last 5 minutes with Canberra going on in the Cup of 86 to a quarter-final appointment. Five tackles gone as Walters plays it. And John MacArthur almost obliged to let that ball go. (11-7) the scrums favouring the Bears, and 5-4 the penalties also favouring the Bears. The scoreboard not handing out any favours though. They're trailing 17-6. It almost seemed a formality the way Canberra were playing that North would win this match, but it turned around very quickly in that third quarter when Canberra scored 2 tries and had another disallowed. O'Sullivan, Meninga stepping out of a tackle, able to get it away to O'Sullivan backing up. He's like an obedient dog, this man O'Sullivan. He's always at your heels, and here's Mitch Brennan going for the corner. Nice tackle. Bootleg stuff. Fay will go very close to scoring here. In fact, he could see the line. I think he might have been even over, but pushed back. Walters is in at ruck half. O'Sullivan can't handle. And the referee has said play on. And this is Martin being wrestled there with the ball. 5 tackles gone. Back for another drop goal. Now Elliott decides to pass. Belcher gets a kick in. Came off a North Sydney player. Dived on by MacArthur. It's Hansen. Florimo. Six more tackles for North. Charge down that backfired against Canberra. Play by Blinkhorn. Murchie through the hands of Cannon and out wider to Simons. And Ferguson was trying to tidy him up. Meninga certainly did. He came in and just flung him over the touchline. Enormously strong man, Meninga. So another stoppage for a scrum. Fay away from the winger Kiss inside the 22, and he just ran out of recruits. There's the siren. He had a strong game, Terry Fay, plagued with injury, fighting back onto the football field, and he played very well tonight, I thought. Here's the scoreboard for you. Canberra 17 defeating North 6, with Gary Belcher, the fullback, 2 tries, and Gary Quinn, the front rower, a try. Meninga kicked 2 goals. Elliott dropped over a field goal. And for North, Fred Teasdale scored their try, and Les Kiss converted. 17-6, back for the man of the match and the quarter-final draw. That'll all happen in just a moment. Quarter-finals of the 1986 National Panasonic Cup. And of course we'll be doing that quarter-final draw with the chairman of the board of directors, Mr. Tom Bellew, very shortly on. But right now let's have a look at the superstar points as allocated tonight. And there they are, 1 point to Dean Lance, 2 points to Paul Elliott, and 3 points, and of course the National Panasonic player of the match, Gary Belcher. Here he is in the Canberra dressing room right now with Billy Anderson.
Congratulations, Gary. You must have been starting to wonder if you'd ever get a win in Sydney football.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Yeah, it's about time. We threw a couple of games away. We should have won against Balmain and then last week against Illawarra.
Things weren't looking good at half-time, but all of a sudden the Raiders put it together in the third quarter.
Yeah, I think, as you've probably seen in the four-quarter football, that's probably the most decisive quarter, and we knew if we could put it together and control the ball, we could come up with the game, and we did.
Congratulations once again, and as our man of the match, you'll receive a national video cassette recorder with infrared remote control valued at $950.
Thanks very much, Bill, and thanks very much to National too.
Well, Gary Belcher takes out his man of the match, and certainly a worthy winner, I'm sure you'd agree. Now, let's see what you've won, if you have, in fact, won footy tab tonight. Here's John Crouch.